Hello, learners. Welcome to Fluent English Power. Today's topic is Unlock Your Listening Superpower. By the end of this episode, you'll learn how to understand native English speakers effortlessly. So stay tuned because you don't want to miss any of the secrets I'm going to share. Let's dive in. No more delays. Ever been in a conversation where you just knew the other person wasn't really listening, like they were just waiting to talk? Oh, definitely. Or maybe you've caught yourself doing it, planning your brilliant comeback while they're still speaking, huh? Guilty as charged sometimes. Okay, so let's unpack this because today we're diving deep into what I genuinely think is a superpower, the art of listening. It really is. It's way more than just, sound hitting your eardrums. Exactly. It's a skill, right? Something you can actually cultivate. And when you do, it can totally change how you connect with people. It's pretty wild, isn't it? How much we seem to focus on getting our point across compared to actually taking in what someone else is saying. Yeah, we spend so much energy thinking about what we're going to say next, but truly understanding, really absorbing another person's view, that's the bedrock, not just for good communication, but honestly for strong relationships. Totally. And for you listening right now, our goal here is pretty straightforward. We want to give you a quick way to grasp this really powerful skill. Imagine getting the hang of effective listening, seeing it transform your relationships, maybe even your career, becoming that person everyone actually wants to talk to. And it's not just about how you interact with others, is it? When you listen better, you actually understand yourself better too. You pick up more nuances, different perspectives. Good point. So what's the plan for this deep dive? We're going to look at why listening is sometimes surprisingly tough, right? The roadblocks. Yeah, the roadblocks, then the rewards, the good stuff, the different levels or ways we listen, some core principles, the foundations, exactly, the foundations, and then some actual techniques you can, try out immediately. So the mission, essentially, our mission, is to help you move towards really active and maybe even empathetic listening. Ready to really hear what this is all about? So the big question, why is listening something that seems so basic actually so hard? Sometimes it's easy to think it's just laziness, right? Yeah, not paying attention. But it's often more complex than that. There's stuff going on in our heads. Totally. It's not always just about willpower, is it? Our brains are just buzzing all the time, processing, thinking constantly. So when someone's talking, that internal chatter can really get in the way. Have you ever caught yourself mid-conversation already scripting your reply? Oh, absolutely. Okay, they said X, so I need to counter with Y. Exactly. Like they mentioned deadline, gotta bring up resources. Sound familiar to you out there? That urge to jump in, to prepare our bit, it's a huge barrier. We get so stuck in our own heads, waiting for that pause, that tiny gap to say our piece, that we miss crucial stuff they're actually saying. And it's not just planning responses, right? Sometimes we're judging. Not sure I buy that, or that doesn't sound right. Yeah, those instant internal critiques, they act like filters, don't they? They totally do. Blinders almost. We stop trying to get their point and just focus on why we disagree or have a better idea. Exactly. The focus shifts inward to our evaluation instead of outward to their meaning. And then there are the obvious things. Yeah, the phone buzzing, right? Ugh, the phone always, or your mind wandering off to your shopping list, or replaying some other conversation. Internal, external, it's a constant battle for focus. And who hasn't done this? Yeah, someone shares something and bam, your first thought is, oh, that reminds me of my story about, the classic compare and contrast, right? And suddenly it's not their story anymore, it's yours, which, sometimes connection happens that way, sharing similar things, but often it just kind of sidelines the person who is talking, makes them feel dismissed. Yeah, like their thing wasn't important enough on its own. I think fundamentally, maybe our culture, it rewards talking more than listening sometimes. That's an interesting point. We value being articulate, being assertive sometimes, over just being receptive? Yeah, and if you've ever felt unheard, like we talked about at the start, you can see how these habits create that feeling for others. It's a cycle. It really is. When we don't listen well, we risk making others feel exactly how we hate feeling, ignored, unimportant, and the fallout from all that? Yeah, less than great listening, misunderstandings, definitely big time, communication breakdowns, people feeling overlooked, just strained relationships, work, home, everywhere. It really impacts everything. Okay, so we've painted a bit of a picture of why it's tricky. Let's flip it. Let's talk about the upside, the superpower aspect. What's actually in it for you when you become a really good listener? Yeah, calling it a superpower isn't really an exaggeration. I think it genuinely unlocks so much. Like what? Where do we start? Well, the most obvious place, relationships. Friends, family, partners, right? The foundation. Exactly. Good listening builds trust. It deepens the connection. When you truly listen, the other person feels, well, valued, safe, even seen. Yeah, that feeling of being seen is huge. Think about a friend having a really rough time. If you just give them your full, focused attention versus, a quick, oh, that's tough, and changing the subject, big difference. Night and day, right? Huge difference in how they feel and how strong that friendship feels afterwards. That genuine listening, it's like emotional glue. Emotional glue, I like that. Okay, what else beyond the warm fuzzies? Okay, practical stuff. Better problem solving. How so? Well, if you're really listening, at work, at home, wherever, you gather way more information. You pick up on the subtleties, the unspoken things, the stuff between the lines. Precisely, the real core of the issue maybe, not just the surface complaint. Okay, so more data leads to better solutions. Makes sense. Like if a colleague is explaining some complex project mess, if you're truly listening, you might catch the real sticking point, not just the symptom they're describing, and then you can actually help fix it properly. Right, and what about just learning stuff? Oh, absolutely. Every conversation is a learning opportunity, isn't it? If you're actually listening. Yeah, everyone you talk to has a unique viewpoint, experiences you don't have. Listening is how you tap into that. You get like a little piece of their world. A tiny piece of their world. I like that. It broadens your own perspective. Definitely. It keeps you learning, keeps you humble maybe. And then there's empathy. You can't really be empathetic if you're not listening, can you? Pretty much impossible. Listening is how you step into their shoes, try to see things from their angle, connect with how they're feeling, which makes you, hopefully, a more compassionate person overall. It enriches your relationships on a deeper level, for sure, and it helps navigate tricky social stuff more effectively, too. Okay, here's one that might surprise people. You actually gain respect. How does that work? Well, when you consistently make people feel heard, truly heard, they start to respect you for that. You become someone they trust, someone they might seek out for advice. Because they know you'll actually listen to the problem before jumping in. Exactly. It's earned respect, not demanded. That makes a lot of sense. And weirdly, becoming a better listener makes you a better speaker, too. How so? Seems counterintuitive. Well, if you really understand what the other person is saying, what they care about, what they need, your response can be way more relevant, more impactful, clearer. So you're not just talking at them, you're responding to them. Less wasted breath, fewer misunderstandings. Exactly. It improves the whole communication loop both ways. So yeah, better relationships, smarter problem solving, more knowledge, more empathy, more respect, better communication overall. It really is a superpower. Definitely not just about being polite. Okay, so if it's this great, how do we actually do it? You mentioned different ways we listen, like levels. Yeah, the levels idea can be helpful. Think of it like, well, moving up a scale from barely tuned in to fully connected. Okay, level 1, the basement level. Basement level. Let's call it passive listening. Level 1, you're physically there, maybe nodding, head nodding, eyes glazed over. Exactly. Mind is miles away. Words are coming in, but nothing's sticking. You're hearing, maybe, but definitely not listening. Thinking about dinner plans while your colleague talks project updates. We've all been there. Okay, what's level 2? Level 2, selective listening. This is where you only really tune in to the bits that interest you or the bits you agree with. Or the bits you agree with. Yeah, you filter out the rest. Or you latch on to one key word, oh, they mentioned budget, and then you jump in about budget stuff, even if that wasn't their main point at all. Right, hearing what you want to hear, basically. Pretty much. It leads to a lot of crossed wires and misinformation. Okay, so passive, selective, now we're getting somewhere better, hopefully. Level 3, active listening. This is the goal for most interactions. What does that look like? It means you're fully engaged. You're paying attention consciously, not just to the words, but the tone, the body language, the whole package. The whole package. You're focused, you're present, your main aim is just to understand what they're communicating. This is what we really want to dig into today. Okay, active listening. Got it. Is there a level beyond that? There is. Level 4, empathetic listening, the superpower level maybe. Ooh, intriguing. What's the difference? It builds on active listening, but adds that crucial layer of emotional understanding. You're not just getting the facts, you're trying to grasp the feelings behind the facts, so putting yourself in their emotional shoes. Exactly. Listening with the heart, you could say, as well as the ears and mind. Connecting with their feelings, not just their story. That's where the really deep connection happens. Wow, okay, so passive, selective,
Active, empathetic. And the goal is to move away from the first two towards consistently being active and developing that empathetic capacity for when it really counts.
Right. So how do we build that foundation? Let's talk core principles.
Yeah, the essential habits. Yeah, these are the building blocks, the things you need in place to even start listening effectively. Okay, number 1, hit me first and maybe hardest. Give your full attention. It sounds obvious, but yeah, hard. Super hard in our world, right? Phones, notifications, multitasking. So what does full attention actually mean in practice?
It means consciously deciding, okay, for this conversation, I'm here. Put the phone down face down, maybe close the laptop lid, stop fiddling with other stuff. Turn towards them. Definitely turn towards them. Make eye contact. Comfortable eye contact, not a weird stare down. And if the environment's noisy, maybe suggest moving somewhere quieter, or even just asking for like, hey, give me 1 sec to finish this email, then I'm all yours. That shows respect. That physical act of turning off distractions and turning towards them, it sends a message, doesn't it? A huge message. You matter right now. This conversation matters. Okay, full attention, got it. Principle number 2, use nonverbal cues. Your body talks even when you're silent. How so? What kind of cues? Well, we mentioned eye contact. Nodding occasionally shows you're following along. Like that, exactly. Keeping an open posture, arms not crossed, maybe leaning in slightly signals you're receptive, right? Not looking defensive or closed off. And your face. Let your expression kind of mirror theirs appropriately. If they're sad, look concerned. If they're excited, show some interest. It shows empathy. So your body needs to be listening too. Totally. It backs up the fact that your brain is engaged. Okay, nonverbals. What about actual sounds, verbal cues? Yeah, those little verbal signals that you're still with them. And them. Okay, I see. Little encouragers. Exactly. They're encouragers, not interruptions. They just let the speaker know, yep, keep going, I'm tracking with you. Okay, those are good. Now, what about the big don'ts? Ah, the golden rule. Do not interrupt. Easier said than done sometimes, especially if you get excited or think you know where they're going. Oh, I know the urge is strong, but interrupting basically says, my thought is more important than the rest of yours. Ouch. Yeah, that stings. So practice patience. Let them finish completely, even if there's a pause. They might just be thinking. Exactly, or catching their breath. Try counting like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi in your head after they stop talking before you jump in. Yeah, okay, the Mississippi rule? I'll try that. Yeah, you might be surprised what they add in that silence. You really might. Patience is key here. Okay, no interrupting. What's the last core principle? Resist judging or advising, at least not right away. Explain that. Isn't advising sometimes helpful? Sometimes, yes, but your first job as a listener is to understand, not to fix, not to critique, not to evaluate, just understand. Just understand. Most people, honestly, they just want to be heard first. The advice can come later, maybe, if they ask for it. So put the fix-it hat away initially. Exactly. Take off the advice-giving hat, put on the understanding hat. Focus on their experience, their perspective. Wow, okay. Full attention, nonverbal cues, verbal encouragers, no interrupting, and no initial judging or advising. That's a solid foundation. It really is. Get those habits down and you're already miles ahead. I can see how just doing those things would make a huge difference. Okay, so with that foundation, what are some specific techniques we can use, like tools for the listener's toolkit? Right, tools to take it even deeper. These build right on those principles. Do number one, paraphrasing or summarizing the "so if I heard you right" technique. Okay, how does that work? After they've shared something, maybe a chunk of thought, you briefly restate the main point in your own words. Give me an example. Okay, say someone says, "Man, work is killing me. The deadlines are insane. My boss is dumping extra projects. I feel like I'm drowning." Okay, feeling overwhelmed, right? So you could paraphrase, "Wow, so it sounds like you're feeling totally swamped with the workload and the pressure, like it's just too much right now." Ah, okay. Why does that help? Couple of reasons. One, it shows you were actually listening. Two, it gives them a chance to correct you if you misunderstood. Oh, good point. Like they might say, "Yeah, swamped, but it's also that I don't feel like anyone appreciates the extra effort." Boom, deeper understanding. Nice! It clarifies for both of you, and it helps them hear their own thoughts reflected back, which can be clarifying for them too. Okay, paraphrasing facts, reflecting feelings. What else? Asking clarifying questions. Your "could you tell me more about" technique for when you're confused or need more detail. Exactly. Don't just nod if you're lost. Ask, but do it gently, non-judgmentally. If someone says, "Oh, the meeting was a disaster," instead of just nodding, you could ask, "When you say it was a disaster, what specifically happened?" Or if they say, "This new system is confusing," ask, "What parts are you finding most confusing?" So it shows you're engaged and want to really get it, right? And it helps them articulate things better too. Sometimes prevents misunderstandings. Okay, clarifying questions. Good one. Next, revisiting something we touched on. Open-ended questions, right? The ones that aren't just yes or no. Exactly. Instead of, "Are you stressed about the presentation?" try, "What are your main concerns about the presentation?" Perfect. Or instead of, "Did you have trouble with the software?" ask, "What challenges did you run into with the software?" You got it. They encourage elaboration, keep the conversation flowing, reveal more thoughts and feelings. Crucial tool. Definitely see the difference there. Okay, one more technique? One more, and it's maybe the most zen. Using silence effectively, the power of the pause. You mentioned this earlier. Yep, resist that urge to immediately fill every silence after they finish speaking. Just let it sit for a second. Just let it sit. They might be gathering their thoughts. They might have more to add. Comfortable silence shows you're not rushing them. You're giving them space. It feels counterintuitive, but I can see how that could be powerful. Give them room to breathe mentally. Exactly. It shows patience and respect. Wow, okay. Paraphrasing, reflecting feelings, clarifying questions, open-ended questions, and using silence. That's a pretty solid toolkit. Definitely takes practice, but yeah, these are tools that really deepen understanding and make the speaker feel genuinely heard, right? But even with the best intentions and these tools, things still go wrong sometimes, right? We hit roadblocks. Oh, absolutely, all the time. Recognizing them is the first step to getting over them. Okay, what's a common one? Mind wandering. We talked about it. Your brain just floats off to groceries, emails, weekend plans. Yep, so how to overcome it? First, just notice it. Oops, drifted off. Gently bring your focus back. Don't beat yourself up, just refocus. Okay, gentle self-correction. You can also try doing a quick mental summary of what they just said to re-engage, or focus intently on their key words or their tone of voice to anchor yourself. Actively pulling yourself back in. Got it. What's another roadblock? Planning your response while they're still talking, that internal script writing again. Yeah, very common. How do we stop that? Try the one thing rule. Tell yourself, my only job right now is to understand one key thing they're saying. Focus on reception, not transmission. Exactly. Delay thinking about your reply, maybe even use paraphrasing first before you offer your own point, just to prove to yourself you heard them. Okay, delay the reply, focus on the one thing. I like that. What about the "that reminds me of" trap? Oh, yes, the story hijacker. How do we avoid hijacking the conversation with our own amazing anecdote? Acknowledge the thought internally. Okay, noted, similar story.
Then consciously pivot back. Ask them a follow-up question about their story. So resist the urge to jump in. Redirect focus back to them. Right, my story can wait. This moment is about them.
Exactly.
Okay, then there's the fix-it mentality, always wanting to solve their problem. Right, sometimes people just want to vent, not get a 5-point plan. So how do you know which they want? You can ask gently. Are you looking for ideas right now, or mostly just needing to talk it through?
Oh, that's direct but helpful. Respects their need.
Exactly. Listen for whether they actually ask for advice. And even if they do, maybe validate their feelings first. Wow, that sounds really tough.
Okay, have you thought about validate first, advise second, if requested?
Got it.
Last roadblock, our own emotional reactions. Sometimes what they say just pushes our buttons, makes it hard to listen objectively or empathetically. First step, recognize it's happening. Okay, I'm feeling defensive, angry, upset. Take a breath. Seriously, just a breath can help. Create a little space. Create space, remind yourself, listen for understanding, not agreement. You don't have to agree to understand their point of view. That's a powerful mantra. Listen for understanding, not agreement. And if you're really overwhelmed, it's okay to pause the conversation politely. I need a moment to think about that. Or, can we come back to this point in a minute? Better than reacting badly. Yeah, gives you a chance to reset. Exactly. Manage your own emotions so you can stay present for theirs. Okay, so mind wandering, planning responses, comparing experiences, fixing, and emotional reactions. Yep, those are big ones. Yeah, but manageable with awareness and practice. Definitely manageable. It's about building that listening muscle, right? Now, does our listening approach need to change depending on who we're talking to, like work versus home? Yeah, I think the core principles always apply, but the emphasis might shift a bit depending on the context. Okay, let's take personal relationships. Friends, family, what's the emphasis there? Often it leans heavily towards empathetic listening, right? Focus on the emotions, the connection, providing support. So more reflecting feelings, validating. Exactly, being present, offering comfort, maybe not rushing to fix things unless they specifically ask, like your friend failing the exam example, right? Focus on the disappointment, not the study habits immediately. That sounds really rough. Precisely. Listening as an act of caring and connection. Okay, now contrast that with, say, the workplace, professional settings. There, while empathy is still good, the emphasis often shifts more towards active listening for clarity and accuracy, facts, instructions, collaboration. So more paraphrasing instructions, asking clarifying questions? Yes, maybe taking notes, ensuring everyone's aligned on goals, tasks, deadlines. Focus is often on efficiency, getting things right, like your boss explaining a project. You'd focus on confirming the details. Okay, so the deliverable is X by Y date. Exactly. Confirming understanding is key. Makes sense. What about really tough situations, difficult conversations, conflict? Oh, okay. Here, listening becomes crucial for de-escalation. Try to bring the temperature down, right? And understanding the underlying concerns, what's really bothering them beneath the anger or frustration. Finding common ground if possible. So what techniques are key there? Staying calm yourself, obviously, definitely avoiding interrupting, and using reflective listening to show you hear their frustration, even if you don't agree. Like, it sounds like you're feeling really unheard about this. Yes, acknowledging their emotion and perspective can be incredibly disarming, trying to genuinely understand why they feel that way. Wow, so listening can be a conflict resolution tool. A very powerful one. It's about showing respect for their perspective, even in disagreement. Fascinating. So adapting your emphasis, empathetic for personal, active, accurate for work, de-escalating understanding for conflict. That makes you way more effective, much more versatile. Definitely. You tailor the tool to the job. Okay, this has been incredibly rich. To help everyone listening kind of pull it all together, can we create like a quick checklist? A listener's toolkit summary? Yeah, a pocket guide. Let's do it. Practical takeaways. Okay, your quick guide for the next conversation. Number 1, turn towards them. Physically orient yourself. 2, put distractions away, phone down. 3, comfortable eye contact, connect visually. 4, nodding and small verbal cues. Okay, show engagement. 5, let them finish, the Mississippi rule, count to 2. 6, paraphrase. So what I'm hearing is. 7, reflect feelings. Sounds like you're feeling. 8, ask open-ended questions. Tell me more about, or how did that feel? 9, use silence. Don't be afraid of the pause. 10, no judging or advising unless asked. Understand first. And 11, manage your own emotions. Stay present. Boom, 11 points. Keep those in mind, practice them. Powerful listener in the making. It's a great summary, a really practical checklist to start working with. Okay, so here's the challenge for you listening right now. This week, pick one conversation, just one. Doesn't have to be a big one. Family dinner, chat with a colleague, even listening to this deep dive replay, and consciously try to use at least 3 things from our toolkit. Maybe focus on putting the phone away, not interrupting, and asking one open-ended question. Or try paraphrasing something they say and reflecting a feeling you pick up on. Whatever feels doable. And then afterwards, take just a minute to think about it. How did it feel for you to listen that way? Did the other person react differently? Did you learn something? That reflection piece is key, isn't it? That's how you learn and adjust, moving from knowing to doing. Absolutely, because this isn't just theory. Listening is a skill. It takes practice, but man, is it rewarding. So rewarding. Better communication, deeper connections, better understanding. It impacts everything. It really does. It's just as important as being able to speak well, maybe even more so sometimes for that real human connection. Couldn't agree more. It's an ongoing journey. Always more to learn, always room to improve. Well, that feels like a great place to wrap up this deep dive on the art and science of listening. I really hope you found this useful. Yeah, hope you're feeling inspired to unlock that listening superpower within you. Remember, really hearing someone, it's a gift. To them, definitely, but also strangely to yourself. Absolutely. It enriches your own understanding of the world. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today. Until next time, keep practicing. You might be amazed at what you start to hear. And keep exploring. There's always more perspective out there. Listen actively, listen empathetically. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your friends. And yes, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on fun and useful English learning videos. Keep practicing, stay confident, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy learning!